Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Subscribe to True Wives Stories and thumbs up for this video before we begin. You're going to want to watch this whole video through. After almost 30 years in what she once considered a spiritual marriage, Sister Wives star Janelle Brown made a major life decision in 2022. She divorced Kody Brown and has since started opening up about her personal journey and love life. Janelle, now 56, was the second wife in the Brown family's polygamous structure. She said that one of the key reasons she departed was Kody's emotional distance and blatant favoritism towards his fourth wife, Robin Brown. The emotional stress wasn't over yet. Kody's increasing differences with their 6 kids piled even more stress onto the marriage. Neglected and unhappy, Janelle decided it was time she put herself first. Her exit followed that of Kody Brown in 2021 and preceded Mary Brown in 2023, leaving Kody with just Robin. Janelle's decision was a turning point. For years, she had been in a marriage where she felt ignored, particularly during moments when Kody was most concerned with Robin. After splitting up, Janelle embraced a new beginning. She's been prioritizing self-improvement, developing new friendships, and thinking about what is most important to her. While romance isn't on her agenda, Janelle has not completely closed the door on it either. She's built a new social network and came into 2025 with what she's described as a detox mentality. Today, independence, clarity, and resetting goals are her priorities as she explores single life. Janelle's had a different perspective on polygamy from the start. Unlike the others, she really did enjoy it. She enjoyed the freedom it provided her and enjoyed that Kody wasn't home every night. It helped her have space to raise her children, concentrate on work, and rely on the other wives for a helping hand. She has said that she felt that the lifestyle best fit her. But while she has good memories, whether or not she'd ever go back to living that lifestyle remains unknown. In the early months following her divorce, Janelle was emphatic about one thing. She enjoyed being single. She had no interest in dating, and far from it, she wasn't even considering marriage. Kody remarried, and Mary continues to pursue love. But Janelle's journey has unfolded differently. In an interview on the Sibling Revelry podcast, Janelle indicated she was finished with relationships and enjoyed being single. She did leave the door open to possibilities, though, by stating she'd be willing to see what happened if something completely out of the blue came along. One of the things that's keeping her behind is grief. In addition to the feelings of divorce, Janelle also has to work through the devastating loss of her son. That type of pain doesn't erase quickly, and everyone heals at their own pace. Just because others are healing doesn't mean she is. Recently on the Sister Wives show, Janelle boldly shut down Kody's account of their history. She spoke her truth out loud and unapologetically. It was a great reminder that her journey is one of strength, self-respect, and forging her own voice. Janelle's story continues, and where she takes us next might surprise us all. On Sister Wives Season 19, Janelle Brown made a strong move in shaping her new life after leaving Kody Brown. Looking back on her past, she openly identified herself as a sexually assertive, self-assured woman, overtly contradicting Kody's previous assertions that she wasn't. Janelle shut down his account with frank honesty, claiming her strength and owning the new page of her life with confidence and pride. Though she continues to be receptive to the possibility of later romance, Janelle has asserted that her immediate priority lies in rekindling her independence and focusing on her own growth. Following a 30-year spiritual marriage, she's devoting her energy to establishing life on her own terms. Her honest statement isn't about love or relationships. It's about self-discovery, empowerment, and resilience. But as Janelle walks into her independence confidently, things on Kody Brown's side seem to be changing too. This time with his longtime companion and sole remaining wife, Robin Brown. After a fiery argument with Robin, Kody was recently seen far from home and, intriguingly, alone. Witnesses reported seeing him at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport in Texas, and not with Robin. This rare sighting has piqued curiosity from Sister Wives fans, particularly considering how inseparable the couple seemed since marrying in 2010. Kody has suffered through a string of personal setbacks over the last 3 years, including 3 failed marriages and the devastating loss of his son, Garrison Brown. Robin has been the constant throughout. The two of them appeared to settle into monogamy, even as their own views on polygamy began to differ. Kody confessed on the season 19 tell-all that he no longer has a desire for plural marriage. Robin, however, said she might still entertain polygamy if there was a guarantee that it would be successful. But recent events indicate that everything is not rosy in their relationship. Kody, being spotted alone at the airport, made most of the viewers speculate. One Reddit user shared a picture of him sitting in a restaurant at the DFW airport on June 18, 2025. His stern look and agitated posture evoked remarks from fans who pointed out how angry he looked. One fan commented on his angry, beady eyes, while the other just added, "He always looks angry now." The fact that Kody was traveling alone and not with Robin raised concerns. The couple has barely spent time apart since their wedding, frequently going on vacations together for family or business. Robin's absence prompted speculation about. Still, it's important not to jump to conclusions. Kody's trip may have been for work. After all, he has a background in sales, and Robin could have stayed in Flagstaff to care for their children, several of whom are still minors. Just because the two weren't seen together doesn't necessarily mean there are marital problems. But as Kody's other ex-wives begin to move on and start new lives, and as people keep watching changes in the Brown family dynamic, it's obvious that even the previously unshakable relationship between Kody and Robin might be under new stress. Whether this was a solo work trip or indicative of more serious issues yet to come remains to be determined. There's been a lot of chatter recently about Kody Brown's recent appearance at a Texas airport, and viewers are attempting to decipher what it might mean. One theory is that Kody was visiting relatives, maybe one of his 17 kids who now reside all over the United States. Since we can't know for sure whether any of them are still living in Texas now, we can only guess as to whether the journey was for business, personal matters, or otherwise. The picture of him, taken seemingly from afar, is of a man who doesn't seem very happy. Whether that's because of the travel itself or some deeper root, it is not known. What will be fascinating to know is whether or not this excursion becomes part of the storyline during the next season of Sister Wives. In the meantime, a major shift is taking place within the Brown family dynamic, one that captures not only the end of a relationship, but the beginning of a new era for a woman long respected for her consistent presence and reflective nature. After decades of spiritually complicated marriage, Janelle Brown has come through with a distinct, assertive voice. Once the second wife in Kody Brown's polygamous household, she has moved beyond that identity to find her own. Her exit wasn't sudden. It was the culmination of years of emotional disconnection, increased feelings of imbalance, and the dissolution of family bonds. At the center of her exit was a strong need for self-respect, a desire for peace, and the strength to find a more meaningful route. As the other sister wives left or threatened to leave, Janelle noticed a change in the dynamics of the family. Something that had once been a partnership became more and more one-sided. Kody's attention grew predominantly on one wife, Robin, making the others feel neglected and underappreciated. This change didn't only impact the wives. Kody's relationship with his children also started deteriorating. Tension between them only added to the increasing perception that the family was disintegrating. For Janelle, these increasing difficulties meant it was time to move on, not because of anger, but because she needed to defend her peace. Following the breakup, Janelle did not seek out dating or romance. She instead basked in the serene strength of solitude. She let go of the need for healing, personal development, and finding happiness independent of relationships. This wasn't regret, it was freedom. about finally letting herself be who she truly was without emotional concessions. Surprisingly enough, Janelle has never been completely critical of polygamy itself. In fact, she frequently spoke very favorably of the lifestyle. For her, plural marriage previously offered a feel of autonomy that conventional marriage may not have permitted. She felt safe with the care of other women within the home, who assisted in the upbringing of the children and fostered a robust family web. That support platform accorded Janelle room to establish her career and pursue her personal ambitions, something on which she is still deeply thankful. Now, as she embarks on a new year with focus and intent, Janelle has talked about emotionally detoxing from her past. She's letting go of the burden of past compromises and clearing the space for something more authentic, more serene, and more meaningful. Her journey isn't merely one of loss, it's one of rediscovery. It's a reminder that it's never too late to rewrite your life, even after decades on a path that no longer feels true. For years, she had borne the household chores in silence. Underneath it all, however, she was quietly drained. While others pined for more attention from the common husband, she felt a weird sense of calm in his absence. Lonely nights were not lonely, they were freeing. Gradually, this became the foundation on which she based her view of relationships. She grew to appreciate the value of friendship greatly, but not at the expense of losing herself. When asked whether she would ever date again, she gave a candid and complex response. Initially, she declared she was happy to be single and did not want marriage or romance. However, after a period of careful reflection, she conceded the point that if the right person came along in a natural way, she wouldn't reject them. Even so, her priorities remain clear: protecting the hard-won peace she now enjoys, nurturing her emotional well-being, and fiercely guarding her personal freedom. Her departure from the family wasn't dramatic or public. Unlike the others who departed in the midst of stress or public spectacle, she had a more peaceful, graceful exit. No ultimatums were hurled, only a firm, clear choice to leave behind a man who had ceased to really see her years ago. Her determination was unshakable. Her choices aimed toward a future forged on her own terms. In public appearances and recent seasons of Sister Wives, she's also resisted the old stories about who she is. She firmly rejected her former partner's allegations that she was unpassionate, asserting with conviction that she is a highly sensual individual, someone whose hungers, necessities, and fantasies had merely been neglected for much too long. Her words were not simply a corrective. They were a strong declaration that she is complete, alive, and deserving of love. Even after years of existence in the shadow of a relationship that has been one-sided, she hasn't allowed bitterness to set in. She's wiser now, more aware. Though she's not jumping into another relationship hastily, she's not closing doors either to the possibility of something real. Her tale is not one of walking away. Rather, it's one of taking back. It's an understated revolution that indicates true freedom can be much more rewarding than any romanticized affair. As she embarks on this new chapter, she's no longer orbiting one man's decisions. She navigates the world on her own accord as a woman who has a crystal clear idea of who she is. Her journey is a quiet inspiration to anyone who is still lingering in relationships that take too much and give too little. Meanwhile, another change has been noticed by fans. The matriarchal figure at the center of the family, once regarded as the spiritual head of the family, was recently observed traveling alone, far from their traditional base in the southwest. The sighting has engendered rumor among staunch viewers of the long-running series. In recent years, he has experienced some of the greatest personal challenges of his life. The anguish of losing a much-loved son and the deterioration of several decades-long marriages have left visible scars. The man who once kept so many relationships on a tightrope now stands alone in the wake of decisions that pushed all those connections away. Though his own future is unclear, what is certain is that the women who shared his world are moving on, quietly, boldly, but all with a deepened sense of what they desire and what they deserve. Through each emotional turmoil and family break, there was one relationship in the patriarch's life that seemed to remain intact, his with the single wife who stayed by his side. Once one of a number of partners, she later became his only confidant and source of support. For years, their relationship was considered a steadying influence in the midst of turmoil. But now, even that anchor seems to be weakening. In an eye-opening episode in the season's most highly watched sit-down conversation, the father made a shocking pronouncement. He no longer believes in polygamy. This was a deep divergence from the ideals which he once fought so hard for. After decades of championing a big extended family unit, he now views monogamy as his way of life. But his current wife expressed a more nuanced position. She supports him, but hasn't written off polygamy entirely. She has explained that if the proper framework, one established on real respect and equity, could be guaranteed, she might broaden their marriage again. Their conflicting viewpoints have created tensions behind the scenes, and recent events indicate that tension is worse than fans first assumed. That rumor accelerated after eagle-eyed fan caught the patriarch by himself at a Texas airport. The picture, snapped in mid-June and shared on a popular chat site, quickly fueled online speculation. His wife was missing, unusual given the couple's well-documented practice of flying together. Audiences were quick to notice something else: his attitude. The once self-assured head of a large family now seemed exhausted, even enraged. Commentators observed the frown on his face, noting that he seemed always tense. One observed that his eyes always seem full of frustration. Another explained how he now wears an aura of worry, a stark contrast to the charismatic man audiences first saw more than a decade prior. So what is this solo trip all about? Is it just a business expedition, or a harbinger of wider personal fissures? It's worth noting that one single outing does not necessarily equal catastrophe. The patriarch remains a businessman, and his job, specifically in sales, may require single travel. With children still in the house, his wife might have simply remained behind to tend to them. But for loyal viewers of the series who've observed how even minor shifts tend to prefigure much greater developments, the question remains: has the last bastion in the decaying polygamous clan also started to crumble? While viewers await the return of the next season, interest mounts. Will the couple speak to the rumors swirling around them? Can they maintain their bond now that the family system they constructed their lives around has essentially imploded? Only time and maybe the next explosive episode will tell. For now, the image of a former dependable family patriarch alone in an airport in Texas speaks 1,000 silent words. It is not only a man on the move, but also one undergoing change, a controlling father and unifier once imbued with authority, now depicted in isolation. Her absence, though perhaps attributable to work at home, rings louder in the aftermath of an emotionally volatile season. Although she has ever been his most steadfast supporter, her choice to remain home, especially in an atmosphere of increasing ideological stress, cannot be dismissed. She puts family life first, particularly since some of their children still need close care, but can't help asking, is she away this time out of duty or out of distance? This moment marks more than just a physical separation, it highlights an emotional one that may be widening. With his strong stance against returning to polygamy and her openness to the idea under better conditions, the couple may be standing at a crossroads. The Texas sighting only adds to the questions. Was it a trip to reconnect with far-off children, a business necessity, or something more personal, maybe some kind of attempt at self-examination, or even flight? Answers are still hard to come by, but the emotional undertone of this trip is unmistakable. It's the sort of quiet fraying that longtime watchers of Sister Wives have come to recognize, the slow, subtle warnings of a relationship shifting, for good or ill. On the horizon, next season's Sister Wives promises more answers. Will audiences see reconciliation or retreat? Will Kody and his wife meet the widening rift in their visions for the future, or another page in this family's drama start to close? With the plural household all but disassembled and ex-wives forging their own ways, the question is, what happens to the family's original vision? And can any portion of that dream continue to exist? As ever, fans will be holding their breath, watching.